First, I have to add some volumes on the back of a forearm to prepare the shape of the plate. So, as you can see, I just add a small volume of Fimo on the back of the forearm and doing a pre-shape. Then I have to prepare the shape of the plate itself. To do that, I'm rolling Fimo in between two spacers to have a constant thickness. Then I'm using a razor blade and I cut the shape of the plate itself. So the advantage with the razor blade, you can shape it and it's very precise to cut the plate. Here I check the size comparing with the other side. It was a bit too big, so I cut again to get the perfect size. The shape is cutted on glass, so it's easy to remove the piece of Fimo using the razor blade. I recheck the size and that's correct. So now I'm using a paintbrush to take my piece of clay and put it on the forearm very gently with a paintbrush with a bit of water. I then use my wood tool just to reshape it and adjust the shape of a plate. Here I'm using another tool, just a dental tool, but it's same phase, it's just readjusting the shape. Make sure every side of the plate is at the right position and the overall shape is right. So as you can see, it's a very delicate phase where you have to be subtle. Now I have to start the detailing. So I'm using a very thin piece of clay. I cut it with a razor blade and then I roll it with this piece of plexiglass just to have a very small round shape. You have to roll it until you get the right diameter for your detail. So this is what I'm doing now. And then I'm using a paintbrush to gently take it and put it in place. So it's a delicate phase. You have to be very gentle to do not damage your piece of Fimo. Just following the border of the forearm plate to do the first details. Then I'm using a knife to cut the end. and finishing the connection. Just make sure it's right. After that, the process continue. I'm doing the same thing again, and doing a new detail. So following the first shape, I go all around and put it in shape, and just this one I will finish with a kind of swirl. Cutting with my knife, removing the excess and just shaping the end to get the right swirl. So you can see I've changed the tool, but it's the same shape as the previous one, but this one is made with a needle. A needle I have bended to get a thinner tip, so it helps me to be a bit more precise for the end of the detail. I'm doing the other side, and you can have here a closer look at it. It's the same process. So as you can see, you just have to be very delicate. Not pushing too hard, or you would deform the shape. So you just need to use the tip of the needle to have the shape that you want. Here I have added a very small piece, a new piece, just to make the second shape. And once again, I'm just using the tip of a needle to define the exact shape, and readjusting the position of a detail. And this is a new one, a bit shorter. same process again. It's a very repetitive process because the details on this plate were symmetrical, so you repeat and repeat the same thing again. But like so, you can see many times the same process. Here I'm finishing the shape, adding a new very small piece of Fimo. And another one just to make a second one. Doing the other side, trying to be symmetrical. The tip of this needle was a bit sanded to have a bit of a round shape. Now here I am preparing another kind of decoration that will be on the plate. So I cut the shape with a razor blade in different angles, and now I just put it on the plate, and as you can see it looks like a kind of arrow with two sharp angles. And when it's in place, I can add another kind of small details. So a very small piece of clay that I blend with the first one to make the tips and make the different shapes. This tool is very precise as it's just a needle, and because of a round end tip I can blend the small amount of Fimo I'm adding, and I can blend it with the previous one, so you won't see the connection between the two. So doing the other side the same way. readjusting the shape and adding very small amount of clay just to make the final touch. Very small bags or very small decoration. So just using the tip of the needle I can cut very small pieces of clay and put them on the plate and shaping it. You need to take your time when you're doing this kind of detail. You don't want to rush it. So I'm just readjusting the shape with the tip of the tool, the side of the tool. It helps me to refine the shape everywhere. You need to look at it on every angle. You may need to add some piece of clay sometimes. Here I'm adding a new detail, a third layer on top of the others. Adding new details on top of the other ones, you get very intricate shapes, and it brings a lot of interesting things to your detail. You have to make your decoration in the right order, just to make sure they are all on top of the others. So like so, you have a very intricate and very interesting decoration. I'm checking the shape. And now I'm adding the next one. So it's the same, kind of a small arrow, but from the top, using the wood flat tool to get sharp angles, and then adding some very small piece to make the tip of the decoration. Like a small arrow. And once again the same process, just adding a very small piece and reshaping it with the tip of a tool. As you can see, I don't use a lot of different tools, so just 3 tools, the wood flat tool to make the flat and sharp angle shapes, the needle tool to put in shape, and the paintbrush that helps to put the decoration in place. I'm preparing a new one and using the tip of the tool just to try to get the right size, and I check the size, it's not right, too big, so I readjust with the blade. Shaping it and checking if it's right size. I'm close to it, it's still a bit big, so removing a bit of it, and now I can put it in place. No, still not. As you can see, it's often too big, so you have to readjust it, and now it's right. Okay, so now I can make the shape. Sorry, it's a bit blurry here. And now I'm doing the last detail using an embossment tool to make a round decoration at the top of it. And here we are, the plate is made. I hope you enjoyed.